My name is James Jackson. Tonight, I get the opportunity of sitting down with the MAW Commissioner, Mr. Boxes. He's been Commissioner for a year. Last year, GC Knight had to step down as Commissioner when he decided to take on Dominic Delano. But tonight, for the first time, we will hear from Boxes, not only about his campaign, but how about he decides to keep his job as Commissioner. He has to figure all of this out before come June, the Board of MAW Directors sit down and make their decision. Who will it be? Scotty Boxes or GC Knight? That all starts right now. Well, thank you, Mr. Boxes, for being here. I'm glad to have you.
Well, Double J, can I just say thank you for having me. Never did I think that I would be doing a spot for the Showtime Tony Clash show. But I've got to say, he's turned around in the past few months, and I think you have something to do with that.
Well, I'm just happy to have you. This is the first time in Double J Studios, and I'm happy to have you here. You're my first guest.
It's an honor to be the first guest for Double J Studios. It really is. The way you've taken Showtime Studios is absolutely wonderful, so to see you branch out on your own is great. So I'm flattered that you asked me to be your first guest.
So, Mr. Boxes, I'm going to get to the first question. Of course. How do you feel about GC Knight coming back to the MAW to announce his candidacy?
GC Knight. It's no secret that I'm not happy about it because he comes back and announces that he's going to run for commissioner, which I did not realize was up for grabs. The board of directors never informed me that it was a once-a-year position because they didn't have anyone else running for the position. So I'm not happy about it. One of the things, if you don't mind, I'd like to point out is that when GC Knight did his interview with Jason Chain, kept pointing out how defensive I got, and he doesn't know why I got so defensive. Well, he also pointed out that his history with the company was right out there for display for anyone, and that's why I got defensive. His last show as commissioner, he ejected me from ringside because I didn't agree with him. How am I supposed to take that if now he's running for my job? He wonders why I'm defensive. He is why I'm defensive. It is GC Knight's nature to turn on people.
All right, well, good comeback. Now, I just want to ask you, you didn't really have a lot of time to really get your campaign out there. I mean, GC Knight kind of snuck up on you at the MAW, came out, announced his campaign, but you kind of, for some reason, you were left behind for some reason. How do you feel about that?
Well, Mr. Jackson, my biggest issue with that is I still am commissioner. I still have Mass Anarchy Wrestling to run. I don't have the time to do formal campaigns. The fact that I was able to come here and meet with you is a real stretch to my schedule. The other side of that is really GC Knight himself has said, well, the fans don't vote, it's the board of directors. And that being the case, I haven't felt an overwhelming need to campaign until now that GC has been flooding social media.
So far, all good answers. I'm impressed. So, now when it comes to the board of directors, are you going to play fair when it comes to getting your campaign out there and going against GC Knight?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I like to play the good guy. I've been a big fan of every type of superhero under the sun. They do things because it's right. I'm not going to do things underhanded. I'm not going to start the mudslinging that GC wants me to so that he can fight dirty. He said that he's going to run a clean campaign, which is great for me because it means that I don't have to watch my back. But the same thing goes to him. If he starts, it's all going to roll downhill.
So, Mr. Boxes, how do you feel about GC Knight not only having his campaign go before yours, but he already got an endorsement?
GC Knight's mystery endorsement. Honestly, I can't really give a full feeling. Yeah, it's disappointing that he has an endorsement, but We don't know who that endorsement is. That endorsement might be Middlesex Express, and they only get a vote if the board of directors ties, which I don't think is going to happen. I think they're going to do the right thing, and they're going to keep me as commissioner.
Now, GC Knight formerly had an interview on MAW Mouthpiece. He said that he can do a better job than you as commissioner. Your response?
Well, fantastic question, Jackson. As for GC Knight doing a better job, I highly doubt that, because he had his shot, and he decided that it was better to get back in the action himself. And honestly, was he a good commissioner? Absolutely. But he got to that point where he just saw red and he had the taste of blood in his mouth and he had to go for it. And that's because of what he had said. That's why he thinks he's going to be a better commissioner, is because he used to be a wrestler. Well, that's why I think he wouldn't make a good commissioner. See, I've always been a fan. I'm always going to do what the crowd wants. And yeah, there are going to be times where they're not going to be happy with my decision either, but I do it because it's going to extend MAW's reputation, and I do it to keep them coming back.
So, if the board of directors decide that you're going to stay commissioner or you get reelected, what is your plans?
My plans, if I get reelected, are no different than my plans going forward as is. Because I can't let the possibility of GC Knight becoming commissioner again even enter into my head if I'm going to do my job now. I'm going to continue to do the job I have. The only thing going forward is I'm going to put my foot down a lot more with some of these guys who think that they can just talk smack to me. Because yeah, they could crush me with their pinky, but I can crush their careers with one little signature. So they've got to start understanding that.
So, Mr. Boxes, now I know you're confident, but I just want to throw this out at you. Now, what do you think your chances are of the MAW Board of Directors re-electing you as commissioner?
Yeah, there's a little bit of nervousness there, but I still think my chances are good due to GC's history and due to the fact of how much talent I've brought in. And thank you, by the way, for mentioning that previously on the Showtime Tony Clash show.
Absolutely.
I really don't think that GC has a shot of beating me, but of course there's that possibility. Have I made mistakes? Absolutely. However, I've hit the ground running, and I'm just going to keep doing my job. I can make up for those mistakes in the future. I'm trying to make up for them now. But GC's mistakes cost him his job. I'm not going to make that mistake.
So, Mr. Boxes, we're coming to the end of the interview. I just want to know, do you have any final words to say to the viewers or about your campaign or anything like that?
Well, if I'm going to say something to the fans, I'd rather say it directly. GC Knight has never been a tool of the board of directors like I have. I'm still going to follow their will. And he's also proven to have his own agendas from time to time. Now, he says he's a stand-up guy. And GC, I'm going to say this right to you. That's what you said before when you hired me. How can we be sure we can trust you anymore? So with that, I ask you all, are you ready for some more anarchy?
Well, we heard from Scotty Boxes himself. We heard about his campaign. We heard about how he feels if the MAW directors are going to re-elect him. So, like I said before, viewers, keep watching. I am your boy, Double J. I'm out. This is WJ Studios.